Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. I tell you what, folks, I've been watching General Hospital for more years than I care to admit. And let me say this latest twist with Britt Westbourne has me sitting on the edge of my old recliner every single afternoon. That poor woman has been through the ringer, but now she and young Rocco Falconeri have gotten so close, it just warms your heart and breaks it at the same time. When that boy looked at Britt and told her he loved her, and she said it right back, well, I got a little choked up, I don't mind admitting. She's been carrying him as a surrogate, and somehow they've built this real mother-son bond that feels as natural as sunshine on a summer morning. But now Britt's decided it's time to pack up and leave Port Charles for good. Lord, you can see the fear in Rocco's eyes. That kid doesn't want her to go anywhere, and who can blame him? She's become like family to him. Here's where my stomach starts to turn, though. Something ugly is brewing. I've got a bad feeling that Cullum knows the truth, and he's fixing to do something downright cruel. That man's got a heart colder than a January morning in Minnesota. Dante and Lulu aren't about to let anything bad happen to their boy. They'll move heaven and earth to protect him. But Cullum, well, he doesn't play by the same rules most decent folks do. It makes my blood boil just thinking about it. Rocco's got this special connection with Britt that you don't see every day on television. The way he looks at her, it's like she's his safe harbor in a storm. The idea of her disappearing forever is tearing that boy apart, and I swear it's tearing me apart too. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer is quietly making moves of her own. She just asked Ethan Lovett to get her some fake passports so she and Rocco can slip away. When I heard that, I nearly dropped my coffee cup. These folks are desperate, and desperate people do dangerous things. I keep telling my wife, honey, these writers are really turning the screws this time. They've taken that surrogate story and turned it into something so deep and emotional, you can't help but feel it in your bones. Britt's standing at a crossroads. Rocco's scared to lose the only mother figure who truly sees him, and the whole Falconeri Spencer family is about to be tested like never before. At the end of the day, that's what keeps me coming back to General Hospital after all these decades. The way it shows us real human hearts getting tangled up in love, fear, and second chances. No matter how messy it gets, I'm rooting hard for Britt and that boy to find their way. Life's too short to lose the people who make us feel truly loved. We'll just have to tune in and see how this storm plays out, and I'll be right here, coffee in hand, hoping for a happy ending. I tell you what, folks, this General Hospital storyline with Britt and Rocco is twisting my stomach up in knots worse than a bad batch of sweet tea on a hot day. Lulu's been thinking ahead like any good mama would. She's quietly getting everything lined up, clothes, money, those fake passports from Ethan, just in case they have to grab Rocco and run out of Port Charles at the drop of a hat. She knows trouble's coming, and she's not about to be caught with her hands empty when it hits. Then that weekly preview came on and nearly stopped my old heart. There was young Rocco sitting all by himself in his room, holding that fake passport and staring at it like it was the most important thing in his whole world. The look on that boy's face just about broke me. He's not waiting around anymore. I can already picture him packing that passport into a little emergency bag, slipping out quietly, and heading straight to find Britt before she disappears forever. He loves her like she's his real mama, and after everything they've shared, he can't stand the thought of her leaving without him. Britt's already made her move. She picked up the phone and booked herself a one-way ticket to Berlin. She thinks she's doing the right thing by getting out of town fast and starting fresh. But that boy's got other ideas. I bet my bottom dollar he's going to show up at her door with those big, hopeful eyes and ask her to buy him a ticket too. Take me with you, he'll say. Now, Britt's got a good head on her shoulders. She'll probably freeze up at first, worrying that folks might call it kidnapping a teenager and all kinds of legal mess. But when it really comes down to it, her heart's bigger than her fears. That deep down love and worry for Rocco's safety is going to win out. She won't be able to leave him behind, and Lord, the danger is getting real. Britt's starting to put the pieces together, and she's figuring out that Ross Cullum already knows the truth about Rocco, everything. That man's got ice in his veins. He's found his own cold-blooded way to handle the situation, and it sure ain't going to be gentle. The second Britt understands how much trouble that boy is in, I reckon she won't waste one more minute thinking. She'll grab Rocco's hand, pack whatever they can carry, and run like the devil himself is behind them, if that's what it takes to keep him breathing. Watching all this unfold feels so real. It's almost like I'm living it with them. I keep shaking my head and telling my wife over dinner, honey, these writers are really pouring it on thick this time. They've taken that surrogate story and turned it into something so full of love, fear, and raw emotion that it sticks with you long after the credits roll. Britt's standing at the biggest crossroads of her life. Rocco's fighting with everything he's got not to lose the one woman who truly sees him as her son. And poor Lulu's caught in the middle trying to protect her boy the only way she knows how. It makes an old man like me think about what family really means. It's not always blood. Sometimes it's the person who shows up, who stays, who risks everything when the world turns dark. My heart's rooting hard for Britt and Rocco to make it out safe together. I want to see them on that plane to Berlin, breathing easy for the first time in months, finally getting the chance to be the family they've already become in their hearts. This one's going to be a wild ride. I can feel it in my bones. I'll be right here on my recliner every afternoon, coffee in one hand and remote in the other, hoping against hope that love beats fear this time. These characters have become like old friends, and I sure don't want to see anything bad happen to that boy or the woman who's grown to love him like her own. We'll just have to keep watching and praying for a little miracle in poor Charles. I tell you what, this General Hospital story has me pacing around the living room like an old hound dog that smells trouble coming. If Britt gets even a whiff that Ross Cullum is backing Rocco into a corner with plans to do that boy real harm, then honey, there won't be a second to waste. She's not going to sit around making polite plans. No, sir. Her first thought is going to be getting that boy out of Port Charles as fast as humanly possible and worrying about the rest later. When a woman loves a child like Britt loves Rocco, keeping him breathing becomes more important than anything else in this world, even if it means she has to become a kidnapper in the eyes of the law and run off with a teenager who isn't technically hers. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen enough of life to understand that kind of love. It makes you do things you never thought you'd do. And young Rocco, bless his heart, he's already working out his own reasons in that sharp little head of his. He might tell Britt he wants to go with her instead of his mama Lulu because Charlotte needs her mother right now. That boy doesn't want to be the one who tears Lulu and Charlotte apart again. He's got a good heart, that one. He'd rather slip away with Britt than cause more pain and broken pieces in his family. It's the kind of selfless thinking that makes you proud and worried sick at the same time. The timing of all this just feels too perfect to be a coincidence, doesn't it? Britt's already got her ticket to Berlin in hand, and right at that exact moment, Rocco is holding a fake passport with his name on it. On top of that, he's sitting at the very top of Cullum's suspect list. If that doesn't scream run now, I don't know what does. Those two could be on a plane together before anyone even realizes they're gone. My heart aches thinking about what's coming next. Lulu and Dante are probably going to get some terrible news if Britt really does take off with Rocco. Can you imagine how that's going to hit him? A parent's worst nightmare. I keep telling my wife, these writers are really turning the knife this week. They've built this whole thing so tight with love, fear, and desperation that you can't help but feel it deep in your chest. At the end of the day, I'm sitting here hoping with everything I've got that Britt and Rocco make it somewhere safe. Family isn't always about who gave birth to you. Sometimes it's the person willing to risk it all just to keep you alive. I've lived long enough to know that kind of love is rare and beautiful. So I'll be right here in my recliner every afternoon, coffee going cold in my hand, praying these two find their way to a little peace together. Port Charles has seen plenty of storms, but this one feels personal. Let's hope love wins this time.